Good afternoon, VC, on a Thursday, a rainy Thursday here in New Hampshire. Coming at you with another video. This is going to be my first in a series of guided by voices vinyl videos. I'm going to show a series of originals spanning from their beginning all the way up to where I end off. I actually end off with the reunion albums. And then go over some of the Robert Pollard solo stuff on other videos. And of course, some of his side projects as well, like Boston Spaceships, Mars Classroom, things like that. Keen Brothers, really cool stuff there. And then plenty of 7 inches too. Love the 7-inch format. Got some 10 inches from him too. We'll show some of those in the future as well. Today I'll start with the beginnings, the early beginnings starting in 1986 and kind of go through B1000, and then from there we'll move forward with another video another day on more GBV. So first off, I just want to start by saying this is probably my favorite band of all time. They're right up there for me with, the Beatles, Beach Boys, of course, and many others. I've got a lot of different top 10 or favorites, but Guided by Voices has always been, Robert Pollard and his band has always been like my main band, and my very favorite, the one I've seen the most live. Seen Guided by Voices live in, I want to say it was 94, was the first show I've seen, and then saw quite a few in the Boston area in 95, 96, and I believe 97. Saw a couple reunion shows as well. So just, there's others out there. There's a real cult following with this band that, there's people I know in these Facebook groups, these GBV Facebook groups, have seen Guided by Voices, 100 plus times. So I'm not that guy, but certainly, I've seen them quite a few times, especially in their early beginnings. So we'll get started with their first EP from 1986 called Forever Since Breakfast. And this is actually an EP. It's the first thing they put out on vinyl, as far as like an LP size vinyl. And you can see it's on, I think it's the I Wanna label, right there. And it's in the shrink. You'll know you have an original with this because first of all, it's going to be in black and white, the cover, so with a little bit of gray in there, of course. You'll know that right off the bat. I believe there's only 500 pressed to this one. There's also a second press that's a red vinyl with a colored front. And I think they pressed 1,000 of those, I want to say. So, but this one I believe was 500 total. But really good stuff. In the beginning, they sounded a lot like Robert Pollard's Heroes, which was REM back then. So Robert Pollard was heavily into like Psych, jangly pop from REM, psych, prog, and punk. So the 4 Ps we call them. And a pop is one of them as well, of course. And this particular album here has a heavy REM jangle pop influence. But it's not bad at all. I actually like it. It's one of their cleaner ones as far as recording as well. There's some 4-track on this, but I believe there's also some 8-track recording on this as well. So it doesn't sound as primitive as like some of their later albums like B1000 and so forth. All right, next I'm going to show you the next in line. This is their first full-length album called Sandbox. This is on the Halo label. This one I bought sealed quite a while ago, and of course opened it because I play my records for the most part. But this again is this Robert Pollard wasn't terribly happy with the sound quality on this one. This was an 8-track recording in Steve Wilbur's garage, and it sounds a little too clean for Robert Pollard's liking. He loved that lo-fi bedroom pop garage sound out of the 4-track, more so than an 8-track, until he, of course, graduated to like 24 tracks with Under the Bushes. So, but before we got to that, there was Sandbox. This was mostly 8-track recorded, and he wasn't too pleased with how clean it sounded. But there's some really good tracks on here. Lips of Steel to lead it off is fantastic. Just a real driving track. There's also some pretty weird tracks on here. A little bit of punk as well, a little bit of post-punk. So, but mostly, this is mostly like a pop rock album, alternative pop rock, REM influence, but with a little bit of sprinkle of post-punk in there. So, not bad. I enjoy it. This is where things really get interesting for me. This is actually out of the albums that were released in the box set, the early box set. So you had Sandbox, you had Self-Inflicted, which I'll get to. You had Same Place a Fly Got Smashed. And then, of course, you've got Devil Between My Toes. This is my favorite out of those 4. Now, it's not, if you polled 1,000 Guided by Voices fans, I think out of the 4, they'll probably have Same Place as the Fly Got Smashed as the consensus number 1. But this would be my number 1. And this is where the Guided by Voices, that patented Guided by Voices sound started to come through on this particular album. This is an original press, and you'll know it by the label here. Really cool. It's like a pinkish purple label. Heavy cardstock sleeve on this one. This one happens to be in the shrink. This one here I also got sealed and had to open it because that's just the way I am. And there's the actual cover. Really cool cover. And then you've got, the beginnings of Pollard's collages that he's famous for. This does have, I think, no, maybe this one, no, this one didn't have an insert. Let me show you the vinyl as well. So this one has the beginnings of that early 90s Guided by Voices sound. Songs like Captain's Dead. I mean, total Birds. If you're a fan of the Birds, Captain's Dead, man, that's such a great track. Cyclops, a cool 4-track like punk post-punk track. Crux, another great track. There's quite a few REM jangle pop songs on this as well, like Hank's Little Fingers, Hey Hey Spaceman, Old Battery, Discussing Wallace Chambers, all really good melodic lo-fi pop songs. Really good stuff. There's a few instrumentals on this as well, a little bit of post-punk on this, a little bit of weirdo outsider music on it. I absolutely love this. Phenomenal album. This one was 1987, so just the fact that it was so early on and for them to be able to put forth such a great cohesive album like this, just huge. But this is absolutely my favorite of the early LPs, and that's not to diminish the others, because I love them all, but that's just how I feel about it. Next in line is Self-Inflicted Aerial Nostalgia, which is right here, and it's got a really cool hype sticker in the shrink. Let me read the hype sticker to you. One of the sharpest sounding Anglo pop bands out of the Midwest since the early days of Green. They play the hardball pop game like a field of kangaroos hopping from stroke to riff. That's from Byron Coley from Spin Magazine. And then from Option Magazine, wonderful psych pop folk noise. Beat low-tech weirdo pop. I'm sorry, best. I should be wearing my glasses. I sound like I can't read, but I can't actually see what I'm looking at here. So I should get my glasses on going forward, which I will do. But best low-tech weirdo pop since the last several releases by New Zealand's Tall Dwarfs. So great hype sticker, and it's all true. Again, this is an original on Halo. Right there. So really, really cool stuff. You know, that I'm not going to talk much more about this one. The hype sticker clears it right up for you. And then you know what? That hype sticker you can transfer right over to the same place the fly got smashed, which is 1989. That one was 88. This one's 89. And same exact type of sound, that weirdo pop, freak, folk, and lo-fi, and it's got it all. The sound of that classic Guided by Voices sound is on this. Love the label on this. Rocket 9 is the label. Another privately pressed album. These are all like privately pressed. These were done by Pollard himself, who was a school teacher. I mean, if you follow Guided by Voices, you know he taught school. He was an elementary school teacher. And he funded these. Him and his bandmates funded these albums. And funny story, his parents used to give him a lot of shit for wasting his money on these albums. They felt he was wasting his money, and they wanted him to give it up. Thank God he didn't. He almost did, but thank God he didn't. But again, 500 pressed to this one. 500 pressed to this one. Super rare. These things are going for big money now, and for good reason. I mean, they're fantastic albums, fantastic psych albums, psych pop albums, lo-fi, you got it, you name it. And there weren't many made. And in addition to that, the following that Guided by Voices has, all these originals are pretty much in the hands of hardcore fans and collectors. So when you do see one pop up, and you can get one of these for anything less than like 700 to 1,000, you got to pull the trigger if you love the band. So, because that's the going rate for these. This particular one here, Devil Between, only 300 were pressed to this. So you can, as you can imagine, this puppy, an original in great condition, like VG Plus or better, is going to set you back over $1,000. It's just the way it's going to be now. These are in the hands of hardcore collectors and hardcore fans, so you're just not going to get a hold of them for anything less at this time. Now, they did do some represses. I have the represses. I'm not going to show them. But if you're not a hardcore fan and you just want to have them on vinyl, then get the repress. The represses are reasonable. They range anywhere from $20 up to $50, $60, depending on which one it is. So depending on the color variant. But the next is probably my holy grail in my collection. I believe this is the most valuable record in my collection. This is Propeller by Guided by Voices. Only 500 were pressed. These were handmade by the band. This particular one, I should have looked it up. I don't recall who did this cover, but this is like a screened, pasted on cover. I'll show you the back as well. Really cool. Each cover was unique, and almost all of them, not all of them, but quite a few of them were hand numbered. So this one is number 170 out of 500. And here's the back, the band colored in the back, slick. And every back slick is a little different coloring wise, so these are very unique. If you can get your hands on Propeller, an original Propeller, it's probably going to set you back anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000. Depends on the cover. There are some blank covers out there, believe it or not, and those blank covers aren't going to set you back much. You'll probably pay somewhere, it'll probably set you back somewhere around $500, $600 for a blank cover, but for an original. But most of them have a unique, cool cover, and you can actually go online and look at all the ones that have been discovered. There's a few still missing, but there's a website you can go on and see most of them. I think there's about 350, 400 of them listed with the front and back cover and who did the cover and so forth. So, and they're all unique. But this is considered, one of their better albums. Propeller's really the album that they felt would propel them into stardom. That's why it's called Propeller. And here's it's just like a white label. But they put, basically this was supposed to be their last hurrah. This was supposed to be like the album, the last album they put out before, you know, they give it up. And so that's why they kind of put all their or what Robert Pollard felt was their best stuff on this album. And it really shows. This up till now, this is actually the best one. This one here is a little better than Devil Between My Toes for me. A lot of Guided by Voices fans will tell you this is their favorite one as well. It's just got so much good stuff on it. And it has that patented Guided by Voices sound. So really, and the replay value on this is fantastic. That's what matters to me the most, is replay value. If an album has replay value and you're going to come back to it and you're going to hear new things and you're going to get that excitement all over again like it's the first time you heard it, that is truly an album that is belongs in the upper echelon in my mind. So it's all about replay value. And a lot of these albums, the ones I've shown you already, have a ton of replay value because the variety on them is so different. I mean, from song to song, there's a lot of variety on them and you don't get sick of it. Going to show you a few more and then we'll end this one. We'll do some other Guided by Voices videos in the future for sure, but don't want this to go too long. But this is a fan club only album they released. They only pressed 1,000 of these. It's a hand screen front, and they did 100 of each color. They did 10 different colors. This was the color that sold out the fastest according to like all the sites. This album's called Tonics and Twisted Chasers, and this is the trash color. They called this the trash color, and they did 1,000 of these. I mean 100 of these, 1,000 total, but 100 of this color. And man, this color is so sweet. It's got like all the pastel colors in it. Absolutely love it. Trash is by far my favorite color. They did like blues and greens, and I love pink. The pink is nice. It's like a translucent pink, but this is definitely where it's at for me for Tonics. Again, this is they did press 1,000 total, 10 different colors, 100 each for the colors. But at the end of the day, this one here is fetching big money. I mean, this thing is selling between 1,000 to 1,500 if you can find one. And it's not as limited as some of the other ones I've showed you, but it's just got really a lot of exclusive lo-fi 4-track pop songs on it. And just fantastic stuff. Like Tobin Sprout has some stuff on here as well. But really good. There's actually another copy of this too floating around that has like handwritten lyrics on the back, which is far more valuable than this. I've never had a handwritten lyric pressing in my hand. I know some Guided by Voices fans have it, but my understanding is that sucker would go for probably $3,000 to $5,000 if it was ever put up for sale, because there's only like, a handful, maybe a couple of them out there. So don't hold me to that. There might be just one of them, but that one has the handwritten lyrics, but this is not that one. This is just one of 100 trash pressings. Really cool stuff there. Fan club only on that one. All right, last two albums I'm going to show you from Guided by Voices. This one here is their next one in line, called Vampire on Titus. Now, this one you're getting into 1993 territory. Propeller was 92. This is 93. This one here is probably their most lo-fi album out there. So it's probably the hardest one to really get into, but I'll tell you, there's a ton of great tracks on here. Let's see Gleamer is fantastic. It's like an alternative version of Gleamer. Jar Cardinals, great pop, 4-track pop song. Sot, Dusted. There's just so much. Marchers in Orange. So much variety too on here. So can't recommend this one enough. This is an original press. And a lot of the original pressings of this had a textured cover. I don't know, you probably can't see that, but the cover was textured. So that's a clear indication of what you got. And then here's the label. But Vampire and Titus, really killer album. but this is by far the most like primitive 4-track album in the entire discography, if you ask me. So there's some tracks that are really tough sound wise, but if you're a fan, you get past all that and you listen through the static and you hear great pop songs. And then lastly, probably my favorite GBV album is B1000 right here. This is the album that they released after Vampire and Titus and Propeller, of course, but this was 94, but this is when Robert Pollard knew he was going to, continue with this and potentially quit his job after this came out. He was asked by Scat Records to put together a 7-inch EP, and that's kind of what really got it going. And then, of course, Scat wanted to put together a full length, so that's how we ended up with B1000. Now, there's some different colors. There's like red, white, and blue, which I have a blue. The blue is, my understanding is I think there was 3,200 pressed of the blue, but I could be wrong. Translucent blue, or 1,200, maybe 1,200. I'm not sure. The clear is super limited. I think only 300 were done to the clear original. And then I've got a white. I believe only 300 pressed to the white. And there's also a red, which I don't have. Honestly, this is overkill to have. I've got 4, actually. I've got the repress as well from Newbury Comics. I don't need all this stuff. So I'm probably eventually going to sell 1 or 2 of these. But right now, I've got these colors. I'm definitely not going to get the red. I originally wanted the red, white, and blue kind of for the flag, but I don't want to spill the money at this point on it when I have all these. It's just no point, because the red's going to set you back at about $120 right now. So I'm not looking to spend $120 on and have a 5th pressing of that album. So, but this is like their white album. This is Guided by Voices' white album. That's the best way I can describe it. Or maybe Abbey Road, because it's got that it's got like a little bit of a medley on the other side where everything kind of smashes together on the B side. But just lo-fi pop track after lo-fi pop hit. This is like a greatest hits album. And you also get the 4 Ps on here. You get prog, you get pop, you get psych, and you get post-punk. You get all 4 on this bad boy. And actually, some of the others you get all 4 too. But this one here, you get all 4, and all 4 are of the highest quality. So check those out. If you haven't heard of Guided by Voices, I'm going to tell you right now, REM, the Beatles, the Who, a little bit of the Kinks, Wire, the band Wire, all those are kind of thrown in a blender, and you got Guided by Voices, especially the early stuff. Huge Wire influence with Guided by Voices. Robert Pollard loved Wire. 154 from Wire was like his favorite Wire album, and you hear so much Wire in all of Guided by Voices music. You hear that post-punk sound. He loved Genesis. He loved prog. So you hear some of that in there too, but it's not overdone or overcooked. And then REM and the jangle pop of the day, and then Psych. Robert Pollard's a huge vinyl collector of Psych, like weirdo Psych, outsider music, just like you all are and I am. He's actually bought some albums from me in the past as well. So I know for a fact he's still collecting because he's still buying. So, but he's a longtime vinyl collector too. So, and Tobin Sprout, his partner in crime on this album, he's an artist. So they do a lot of their albums themselves. Like this is his collage, and the collages actually get a little more crazy as we go, a little cooler as we go. So he's even released books with his collages. He has like original collages that have been bought by Guided by Voices fans. Original covers, original cover art collages that's been purchased before, that he sold before. So just cool stuff. I'm so glad to bring everyone down this Guided by Voices rabbit hole. But if you love the Beatles You know, if you love the Beatles, Wire, you know, Genesis, The Who, big Who fan. You hear a Who influence in their music. All that stuff kind of wrapped into one. REM, of course, early REM. You will absolutely love Guided by Voices. That's all I can say on it. But thanks for watching. We'll come at you with another video real soon. Crazy Jimmy is out.